The Acadians lived in a land called Acadia. This land was located in eastern Canada. It included what is now Nova Scotia. New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island were also part. The people were of French descent. They had settled there in the 1600s. Their communities were small and agricultural. They were known for their unique culture. They had a distinct way of life. They worked hard on their farms. The French and Indian War began in 1754. This war was a major global conflict. It was mainly between Britain and France. These two great powers were old rivals. They fought for control of North America. The war created great uncertainty for many people. It brought much fear to the region. The Acadians were caught in the middle. Their lands became a battleground. Their future was very unsure. The Acadians wished to remain neutral. They did not want to fight for Britain. They also did not want to fight for France. They had lived under British rule at times. This was since the Treaty of Utrecht in 1713. They had often refused to swear full allegiance. An unconditional oath to the British Crown was hard. They preferred to be peaceful farmers. They wanted to continue their simple lives. Their desire for neutrality was strong. British officials grew very suspicious. They doubted the Acadians' loyalty. They feared Acadians would help the French. Their strategic location was a concern. Acadia was near important French forts. The British wanted to secure the region. They saw the Acadians as a security risk. This mistrust would lead to drastic actions. The stage was set for a terrible event. A tragic chapter in history was about to begin. The British governor made a fateful choice. His name was Charles Lawrence. He was the governor of Nova Scotia. He decided to expel the Acadians. This order was given in 1755. He believed this was necessary for security. He wanted to make Nova Scotia safe for Britain. This decision had very serious consequences. It changed Acadian lives forever. It was a very harsh measure. The main reason given was military strategy. The British feared an Acadian uprising. They worried Acadians would support French forces. Their refusal to take an unconditional oath was key. This refusal was seen as defiance. The fertile Acadian lands were also desired. Some British settlers wanted these farms. So reasons were both military and economic. It was a complex and sad situation. The Acadians were in a difficult position. The expulsion process was brutal. It started in the fall of 1755. The Bay of Fundy campaign was a major part. British soldiers rounded up Acadian families. They were forced from their homes. Their villages and farms were often burned. This was done to prevent their return. Many lost everything they owned. It was a time of great sorrow. The people suffered greatly. The siege of Louisbourg was also significant. Louisbourg was a powerful French fortress. It was located on Cape Breton Island. The British captured it in 1758. This was a major blow to France. It weakened French power in the region. This victory made the expulsion easier for Britain. It helped them control the area more fully. The fall of Louisbourg was a turning point. It further sealed the fate of Acadia. Acadian people were loaded onto crowded ships. They were sent away from their homeland. Their destinations were often unknown to them. Many families were cruelly separated. Children were parted from their parents. Husbands were taken from their wives. The conditions on these ships were very poor. Disease and starvation were common. Many Acadians died during the voyages. It was a period of immense suffering. The Acadians were scattered widely. Some were sent to British American colonies. This included places like Massachusetts and Virginia. Others were deported to England or France. In these places, they often faced hostility. They were seen as enemies or strangers. Finding work and shelter was very hard. Many struggled to survive in exile. They longed for their lost homes. Their lives were completely disrupted. A significant number eventually found their way. They traveled to Louisiana. At that time, Louisiana was a Spanish colony. However, it had a strong French heritage. Many French-speaking people lived there. The Acadians found a more welcoming environment. The climate and land were very different, but they began to rebuild their lives. They settled along rivers and bayous. This new land offered them a fresh start. In Louisiana, a new culture was born. The Acadians adapted to their new surroundings. They blended their traditions with local influences. This unique culture became known as Cajun. The word Cajun comes from Acadian. Their French language evolved into Cajun French. Their music and food became famous. Gumbo and jambalaya are Cajun dishes. Cajun culture is a rich and vibrant heritage. It shows the resilience of the Acadian spirit. After many years, some Acadians returned. They made their way back to the maritime region. This included Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. However, they could not reclaim their old lands. Their original farms were now occupied. They had to settle in new, often remote areas. They faced continued hardships and discrimination. Rebuilding their communities was a slow process. They worked hard to preserve their identity. Their perseverance was remarkable. Nova Scotia itself underwent a big change. The expulsion created empty lands. The British government wanted new settlers. They encouraged people from New England to come. These settlers were called New England planters. They were granted the fertile Acadian farms. This influx greatly altered the colony. The population became more English-speaking. The cultural landscape was transformed. It marked a new era for the region. Meanwhile, the war for North America continued. Britain steadily gained the upper hand. A crucial battle took place in 1759. This was the Battle of the Plains of Abraham. British forces defeated the French near Quebec City. Quebec City, the capital of New France, fell. This was a devastating loss for France. It was a major turning point in the war. British victory seemed increasingly likely. The fate of the continent was being decided. The final major act occurred in 1760. The city of Montreal surrendered to the British. This ended large-scale fighting in North America. The French and Indian War was nearing its end. Britain had achieved dominance over New France. The Treaty of Paris in 1763 confirmed this. France ceded most of its North American territory. The expulsion of the Acadians was one tragic part. It was part of this larger imperial struggle. It left a lasting mark on history.